Someone hurts you. You feel it. Sharp. Immediate. That's the first arrow. No one escapes it. But then something else happens. You replay it. You ask why. You tighten around it. For hours, for days, sometimes for years. That's the second arrow. And here's the strange part. You're the one holding the bow. 2,500 years ago, the Buddha described exactly how we wound ourselves twice, and why we don't have to. The teaching comes from a short talk called the Sallatha Sutta, the Discourse on the Arrow. Just a few paragraphs, spoken near the ancient city of Savatthi. It opens with a question so ordinary, it's easy to miss. When something painful happens, what's the difference between a mind that's been trained and one that hasn't? Most of us assume the trained person feels less, that they've gone quiet inside, untouched, above it all. The Buddha says something stranger. He says both people feel the pain. The difference isn't the pain. The difference is what comes after it. And a quick note, because these get confused. This is not the parable of the poisoned arrow, the man who won't be treated until he knows who fired it. That's a different talk. This one is about the two arrows we all carry. The first arrow, pain. The body aches. The news lands. The person leaves. Something in you contracts, and it hurts. The Buddha is blunt about this. The awakened feel it too. Cold is still cold. Loss is still loss. Grief still arrives. This is where a lot of people misread the teaching. They think the goal is a kind of numbness. Feel nothing, want nothing, drift above your own life. That's not what the text says. The first arrow always lands. To be alive in a body is to be reachable by pain. No practice removes that. So if the trained mind still feels the first arrow, what exactly does it escape? The second arrow. And in the sutta, it comes in 3 moves, one after another. First, resistance. The pain arrives, and something in us refuses it. No, not this. This shouldn't be happening. We brace against the feeling, and the bracing is its own ache. The Buddha's words for the untrained person are vivid. Struck by painful feeling, they sorrow, they grieve, they lament, they beat the breast, they grow distraught. So they feel 2 pains, he says. One in the body, one in the mind, as if shot by one arrow, and right after, struck by a second. Second move, escape. Unable to bear the feeling, we reach for anything that makes it stop. A drink, a screen, a door out of the present moment. The sutta names it directly. Seeing no escape from pain except through pleasure, the untrained mind runs toward it. And the relief never quite holds. Third move, not seeing clearly. Not stupidity, just missing that this feeling, like every feeling, arose from conditions and will pass. We treat a passing wave as a permanent fact. Resistance, escape, not seeing it clearly. That's the bow being drawn. That's how a single moment of pain becomes an afternoon, a season, a story we tell about ourselves for years. Now, the well-taught disciple. Same arrow, same body, same loss. Now, the well-loved disciple. Same arrow, same body, same loss. But the Buddha says, when pain touches them, they do not sorrow, do not grieve, do not lament, do not grow distraught. So they feel one pain, physical, not mental. One arrow, instead of 2. That's the whole teaching. Not a life without pain, a life without the second one. Modern teachers put it in 4 words. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. It's a good line. Just remember it's their gloss, a way in, not a verse the Buddha spoke. What the text actually offers is smaller and more usable. A gap. The space between the feeling and what you do next. The first arrow lands there whether you like it or not. But in that gap, before the second move, there's a choice most of us never notice we're making. You feel the sting, and instead of the reflex, the no, the reaching, the story, you let the feeling be a feeling. You watch it arrive, you let it crest, you let it go. This isn't suppression. Suppression is another way of bracing. The second arrow wearing a calm face. Non-resistance is the opposite. You feel the whole first arrow, fully, and add nothing. It's simple to say, and a lifetime to practice. The reflex is fast. The bracing feels like protection. Reaching for the exit feels like relief. But every time you notice the gap, even once, even late, you learn what the sutta promised. The second arrow was never being fired by the world. It was being fired by you. So the next time it comes, the sharp word, the bad news, the ache that shows up uninvited, see if you can feel the first arrow land. Just that one. Notice the pull to add the second, the replay, the resistance, the reach for the door. You may still fire it. Most days, most of us do. But you'll have seen the bow, and you can't fully unsee it. 1 arrow. That was the offer, 25 centuries ago, in a few plain paragraphs near Savatthi. It's still open. If you want the full story, the text, the history, and how to sit with it, the complete piece is linked below. Thanks for watching.